Rock bottle on the track, boy.
Yes, friends, hello, good evening. I hope everybody and good day. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so very much for being here, my friends. As always, so very good to be kind of getting back into the saddle again. I haven't streamed in a long time, so welcome to another stream. Book Killian here with you. So very glad to be back at it again. Let me just get myself acquainted, set up with my slides. I've got a few slides I've put together for us to take a look at. You guys let me know how everything's coming through for you. I'd really appreciate it in the chat. So I just want to give a quick shout out to the crew that has dropped. Demon Stride, my friend, one of my new friends over from Discord. Thank you so very much for being here, Demon Stride. I appreciate you, man. Then we've got I got the Ghostface going on. Ghostface Killer! What's going on, guys? It's been a minute. So I got studio stuff. I'll update you guys as I go. But so yeah, Demon Stride, what's happening, man? Thanks for being here. TL, as always, it's been a minute. Thanks for being here, my friend. So good to see you. Raj, my mod, my YouTube mod, my friend, my back home brother. I hope all is well down in Trinidad. Hope all is well with the family. And TL. Did you ever look into the concave Earth theory yet? A lot of interdestating similarities. Yeah, TL. I have. It's funny. I've had an interesting few days with the meniscus. So if you know about the meniscus in the knee, it also plays a part in water. So if you're going to be sticking around, I'll definitely explore this concave theory with you, because I think there's a little bit to it. But I'm not. I've kind of I've heightened my understanding. I've taken time away from YouTube to engage with Discord and engage with a lot of communities over the last little while, and I've actually I've really gone back to scripture, and I began really looking at how things shake out, what makes sense, why it makes sense, and I'm firmly at this point in time standing on the understanding of scripture, or the overstanding of scripture, whatever you want to call it, but just what's written, and how it actually unpacks. And I don't even have to, at this point in time, with my understanding of how this whole thing's come about, I don't even have to use the 4-letter word that is so triggering to people, right? So I want to see if I can walk through this, and I appreciate you guys for being here so very much, and I'm looking forward to unpacking this a little bit more. So we'll see. But again, guys, thank you so very much for being here. So yeah, let's get on with the show. Pardon me very much. Excuse me, I had a beer with dinner, so maybe a little bit of burping happening, but I'll promise to keep it polite. Today's show is called "Why Is It a Perfect Design?" So the idea being put forth is that we live in a design, in something that was perfectly designed, made, constructed. Everything works in perfect balance back and forth. It seems to work this way on an enclosed system. Given the fact that you're engaging with mediums. Mediums are the things that I'm really looking at right now. When I say mediums, I'm referring to the gaseous elements, the things that require helium, the oxygen that we breathe, all these invisible things that we don't see, that fill rooms even. Liquid ice as an example, right? We see it fill into a room, and it can start from the bottom because it's very dense, and it starts to rise and it fills into the room, right? And that's how mediums work, right? When you start to look at entropy and things of that nature. So we're going to be unpacking these things. I was saying I might keep it short, or I was going to keep it short, 25 minutes, but who knows? I might be chatting about this for a little bit, and we haven't got past the slide yet, or the title slide. Anyways, so the major thing that I want to put forward into your mind's eye is that mediums, whether it's water, liquids, right, or gases, right, these things require containment. And if you don't contain them, you'll have a mess on your hands. On with the show. So who am I? I am in Discord. I've finally became known as the clown, the Joker. Self-titled, of course, but I am in fact the clown, the Joker. You're obviously joining me on YouTube, which I greatly appreciate that you found me through YouTube. But I will click that link. This is me. Hey, that's me, Gillian Weeks. That's my my IRL name. Shout out to everybody that has hit that subscribe button. Thank you so very much for being here, guys. I always appreciate you. Yeah, if you hit that like, I'd really appreciate that as well. That does tons for the algorithms. Algo gang, as they say. Ha ha. Yes. So, the understanding of what we are engaging with, what was constructed, how it was constructed, who constructed it, who takes the credit, if you will, the credence, I believe would be a fair word, for this creation, who has written it from beginning to end, that this is what was created, and this is when it was created, and how does it come to be, and how do we engage with it? Where are we within this entire creation, and just what was it? Now, within Scripture, in Genesis, the first day talks about the original light being present. Second day creation, about the firmament being installed. Now, what is consistent is that there's this speak of, or what is written, that he separated the waters from the waters. Looking at this graphic, taking in heaven being at the very tippy top. You have the 7 layers of the firmaments. Then you have Mars, Venus on either side. The waters that were divided. And this is where we reside, within this little pocket that was created for us to dwell within. This air bubble, if you will, this pocket. And this is where the waters were divided from the waters. This idea of the firmament was introduced, which holds back the waters. And we know for a fact, yo, I am Kovac. What's happening, man? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I really appreciate you, Kovac. Thank you so very much. And your child's watching as well. Dude, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing, dude. And you know what? I've got great colorful slides coming up, so please keep them watching. Really appreciate the homage, my friend. It's been a minute. So then we also have the speak of the 4 pillars, which in scripture there is talk about the 4 pillars that hold up this entire design. I'm not going to get into it today. Maybe this will be something that I unpack in the future. Now, here's where things get a little bit crazy. The speak of the day 1 creation. Hi, sorry, I dipped off camera. What up, homies? Now, the day 1 creation, it talks about the original light. Now, in future episodes, I'm going to get, literally unpack scripture and go through point by point and stuff. Today's just really just to get back into the seat and start talking and having fun. We talk about, or what's talked about is the day 1 creation, the original light that was there. For those of you that remember, maybe recall Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. Chris Cornell talked about the black hole sun. I have my own theory. I know people talk about it's a sun that gets eclipsed by the moon. I'm still in a place where I'm thinking the original light had to be there. And this is what I think it is. Now, again, there is the earth that was inserted. That's the green areas within the waters. I'll get into unpacking more of how this mapping thing works. Pardon me. But from a standpoint of the original light being present, I believe it is in fact a black sun that exists beneath the plateau that we engage with, the lands that we engage with, if you will. And I hope that makes sense. I'll get into further more later on. Now, getting back to the original picture I showed. Now, I unfortunately, the image quality wasn't the greatest. I apologize profusely for not being able to better rasterize the image. But again, if you can take it in for what it's worth, you have the earth, you have this pocket of air that's created, right, where the waters were in fact divided from the waters, right? And the waters above are actually held back by this thing called the firmament, which I absolutely love. Sorry, I'm peeking on my mic. Oopsies. Apologies, guys. Now, shout out to the NASA logo up top with the red serpent. We see you. We see you. But what they did say, which let's talk about NASA and one of the interesting things that they've presented, the second law of thermodynamics. So we all know that if we have a hot cup of maybe tea, because everybody knows you make tea, it's always crazy hot. Maybe put an ice cube in it, right? Or sometimes we'll just put a little bit of cold water in it or warm water in it to help equate or cool down the temperature a little bit so that we can consume the tea and it doesn't burn our mouths, right? Right. So, sorry guys. Second law of thermodynamics, which is exactly what you are doing when you put that ice cube into that hot cup of tea, or you pour some water into that hot cup of tea. It's called a heat transfer. There exists a useful thermodynamic variable called entropy, a natural process that starts in one equilibrium state and ends in another, and will go in the direction that causes the entropy of the system plus the environment to increase for an irreversible process and to remain constant for a reversible process. I.e., once you mix this, this can't be undone. And I hope that makes sense. I.e., you put the ice cube in, sorry brah, you're not getting the ice cube back. You put the cold water in, sorry brah, you're not getting that cold water back. In fact, you're going to get something else that you've created by combining two things. You take two separate items, combine them, and you have a new creation. Now, when we engage with another medium, water specifically, there is this thing called hydrostatic pressure, fluid pressure, and depth. Now, I'm going to read this slide because it's a great slide. That's why I chose it. The air around us at sea level presses down on us at approximately 14.7 pounds per square inch. We do not feel this pressure since the fluids in our body are pushing outward with the same force. But if you swim down in the ocean just a few feet, and you will start to notice a change. You will start to feel an increase of pressure in your eardrums. This is because of an increase in hydrostatic pressure, which is the force per unit area exerted by a liquid on an object. The deeper you go under the sea, the greater the pressure pushing on you will be. For every 33 feet you go down, the pressure increases by 14.5 psi, which is 1 bar. Cool. So the diver, right? He puts on his equipment. Sometimes they put on weights. Well, they all put on weights, actually, not sometimes. You always put on weights. Your scuba tank, your gear, all these things to allow yourself to be more dense with the medium that you're engaging with. Because we all know if we're not wearing any of the heavy scuba gear, we take a big breath and the water, we can float on top of that water. Now, if we strap on all that gear and we manipulate our profile with the medium, that can change our engagement with the medium. I.e., you make a skinny profile, you will dive deeper. Flatten out, you will rise up. Thing that's important to remember is on gaseous nitrogen, when our surrounding pressure increases or decreases, the amount of nitrogen our body can absorb changes. The surrounding pressure increases and nitrogen travels under high pressure from the lungs to the blood. Ascending too quickly won't allow enough time for the nitrogen to leave the blood, resulting in the bends. And that's something where if divers come to the surface too quickly, they'll take the divers, you'll see them in a state, they won't be very responsive, etc. They'll get them directly. They're usually in hospitals that are usually at the beach, depending on how busy beaches are, scuba diving, things like that. They will have a machine that can take the person into the machine and they will repressurize that person to whatever altitude needed so that they can recover back to an acceptable pressure so that they don't continue to suffer from the bends. Bends is crazy stuff, man. It'll do some crazy crap to you. So, looking at this awesome chart that I found. Yes, me. Thank you. If you look at altitude below or above sea level in feet, at 0, as stated earlier, you've got a 14.7 atmospheric pressure pounds per square inch observed. Now, the thing about 14.7 psi, again, that's 1 bar. It's to, I wave my hands around and I can feel this pressure, right? That's what's there. I have an empty glass as an example, right? A fully empty glass, no water in it, is 100% full of a medium. Gas, oxygen, 14.7 psi. Now, that pressure, 14.7 psi, we look to a passenger car for a quick lily pad example to help stonewall this observation, which is 32 pounds per square inch, 32 psi to 35 psi. Most passenger cars will recommend 32 to 35 psi in the tires when they're cold. The reason you check the pressure when they're cold is that as tires roll along the road, friction between them and the road generates heat, increasing both the temperature and the air pressure. Hope that makes sense. Now, the Day 2 creation. This is pictures that I gathered from the Falcon 9 rocket launch. Feel free to... Actually, what time is it? We got time. Guess what? You're mine. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm going to call it up right quick. Let me know if the... oh, that typing is annoying. Falcon 9 launch. Look at that. Boom. Came right up. Look at that, man. It's like right there, man. Yeah, that's it, man. That's the one I'm looking for.
Applying for residency right now, which
must get ad blocker.
Lifesaver with my application.
All right. Peep this, homies. Peep this. Now, you got a rocket. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't intro the clip well. I'm so sorry. Bad DJ.
And it's going to launch in just about a minute, maybe a little less here, and we should be able.
Okay, so they're launching a rocket. All right, cool. They're gonna shoot this rocket up in the sky. Here, I'll turn on the audio.
Right now, I've got just shortly after 5:27, so we are waiting right now. This should be coming up at any moment, so we just have to keep our eyes on it. This is part of the Iridium.
Come on, man.
It's
Come on, man.
really extraordinary.
Shoot your rocket, man. Shoot your shot. Okay, there it is.
That's all the
There's
way
a shot.
from Vandenberg.
Okay, so the rocket goes up.
Extraordinary that
The rocket goes up. It goes up. It goes up. It goes up. And then... See, there's the rocket. Y'all see it? Yay, rocket. Okay, go, rocket, go.
Now, I want to mention that this Falcon 9 is capable of actually carrying 10 satellites into space. So
Satellites,
this
huh?
thing is massive
Satellites.
in its own right.
Get out of here.
And such a great thing to be watching here. And here we go. Now
Okay.
you see the sun hitting it. Look at that.
Oops.
Really.
So, this sensation here, again, guys. Ooh, look at my new hairdo kill. Check it out, man. Sorry. Here we see the rocket creating some kind of sensation, visual thing, I don't know, observation, if you will, right? We know it's a rocket. We know it was launched into the sky, right? Now, visually, this looks to me like a boat in water, jet ski, whatever, creating a wake. Sea foam. That's what I think. That's my humble observation when I look at this. That's what I think.
Taking off now.
Now this thing does its thing. And then it comes off. It starts making another... Now it starts to slow down. And the pattern gets wider and wider.
And you can see it, but from the ground, it almost looks as though a cloud of smoke with its own mind is just.
Now you get this front. Now we know again, guys, the rockets have one piece that's the lead, right? The secondary piece, the booster, if you will. Now the booster is secondary over here, hanging out. Now my question is right now is, what do we know that's possible to make ripples in the sky?
Shooting through the sky.
I said sky.
This is absolutely incredible.
But what?
Again, you're watching the...
Okay. Thanks for that little sidebar, guys. I appreciate it. So I go back to this, and I think about the day 2 creation. The day 2 creation, heavy water. Deuterium oxide. HO2 or H2O D2O is a form of water that contains only deuterium, H or D, also known as heavy hydrogen, rather than the common hydrogen 1 isotope, H or H, also called protium. That makes up most of the hydrogen in normal water. The presence of the heavier hydrogen isotope gives the water different nuclear properties, and the increase in mass gives it slightly different physical and chemical properties when compared to normal water. Natalie, what's going on, homie? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so very much. Shout out to you, my friend. Thanks for being here. So the day 2 creation, this idea of the firmament, this idea of the heaviest water, you could have a valley full of it, or a lake full of it, and it would look like a valley because you wouldn't be able to tell it's there. Could this be H3, tritium, heavy water? Could this be the thing that's actually holding back the waters above that we engage with? That's my question. This here, beautiful map that I was blessed with in my journeys through Discord. So the day 3 creation, after the firmament was installed, again, the waters were divided from the waters, right? So we have the edification or identifier of the waters above and the waters below being split by this thing called the firmament, right? And now that we have that air pocket created, the lands come along. The lands get created as per Genesis on the 3rd day. The lands are inserted. Shout out to Africa, the motherland, right here. If you're wondering, Australia, right here. Skip across this thing called Lemuria, right here. And you'll end up in the American Strait. That's right, folks. South America, the Caribbean Strait, North America, connected into Eurasia. That, my friends, are your lands. That right there, my friends, is your Antarctic Circle. The big ring that keeps us all in. Ha! Alright, guys, so on the day 4 creation as per Genesis, again, in future episodes I'm going to be going through exactly within scripture the chapter, the verse that describes everything that was done. This is just an overview, really just to hang out and say hi, come back to the table and share the knowledge, if you will, in a very informal manner, as you can tell. You've got the idea of the black sun interacting with this cutout, this potential hole, let's say, in the earth that was installed. You have Polaris, the celestial body. You have the other celestial bodies, which were all installed on the 4th day, along with the sun, something to govern over the moon, over the day, and the moon, something to govern over the night. Now, the black sun interacts with Polaris, the disco ball hanging from the top of the room, and through its reflective prowess, called refraction, the sun and the moon are created with their intersecting, or bisecting, I guess? Intersecting, bisect, whatever. Where the light cuts through and interacts with that sight line. Again, the process called refraction. If you want to check out the Pink Floyd album, I think it was Dark Side of the Moon, where it showed the light prism and the light going in and changing to a rainbow on the other side. Same idea. My colorful slides. I am Kovac. Sir, I hope I haven't lost you. I hope Junior's still with us. Day 5 creation, he created everything that goes in the water, everything that hangs out in the water. The Day 6 creation, everything that hangs out on the land, including us, Adam and Eve. And on the 7th day, he rested. My friends, that concludes my my presentation for today on why is it a perfect design. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Go back. That concludes today's presentation on why it is a perfect design, and why do I state so strongly that it is a absolutely perfect design is because mediums require containment. I don't care what you say, who you think you know, what you think you know, but the bottom line is, above all else, the thing that governs everything is mediums require containment. And this is why it is a perfect design. My friends, appreciate you as always. Thanks for being here.